And what we're going to talk about today is AI infusion. That's most of my topic is. Just a little bit touch. The reason we have 10.5 million lines of code and 250,000 approximately every quarter is to make your life easy. So you don't have to worry about what it is behind the scene. All you worry about is outcome. So AI, you will hear me a lot about calculator example. When a mathematical calculator came first, to me it was AI, it was magic. I do tick, 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 answer come. I said, wow, that's great. That's beautiful. This little device understand me. Same thing with AI, especially the generative AI, which we're gonna cover right now, is all about ability to talk to computers to give you an outcome. That's what we're gonna see. So with that, let me jump. Uh-oh. The top title says the human mission to talk to computer. Essentially, we always been trying to talk to computer. What does that mean, talk to computer means? Today, when you go into any application UI and you click something and a screen comes up, you're essentially asking a question to which you get an answer. You're trying to talk to the computer. And this ability of computer to converse with human is not started today. In fact, in 1950, Alan Turing, a professor, a scientist from England, came up with a test which is now very famous as Turing test. And what that test was all about, can computer converse with human in the language they understand? They means human, us. So that's the mission started from 1950 now. And how we have evolved, if you look what happened initially when operating system came, you type something in CLI in text and answer come in text. Then we moved to UI. Now you click on UI and the answer come. And the future is AI. You tell computer in your natural language and an outcome come. That's the mission. Mission is to talk to computer. Even if you look the evolution, how we simplify talking to computer to build application and use application, we started with machine language. I don't know how many of you have worked in machine language, but machine language is essentially someone goes and typing 101010, it directly get fed into CPU and something happens for you. Imagine how hard it is going to be today for us to read that 1010. From there, we get into assembly language. So let's make it easier for us to converse with computer. And we came up with assembly language where we build applications using mnemonics and labels. Then, which you mostly know in this day, come 3GL, C, C++, Java, which is even more human readable. It's like English, but still very hard because you have to have curly brace, you have to have semicolon, you have to understand cryptic syntax. Remember the function f will do something, there's some meaning to it. Then came scripting, further simplification. And when low code come, that was another AI. Oh my God. I'm just going to click at the 5, 10, 20, 50 things and I have an outcome. Outcome can be integration. Outcome can be application. Outcome can be e-commerce, anything. He said, wow. Then came no code. Now, what we're going to see today is I ask in the natural language and that outcome comes to me. How powerful it is. This is why we call our platform AI infused. And guess what? We're not taking low code away from you. You guys can still use low code if you like. Adopt at your own pace. And wherever AI ends, you can pick using low code. So the platform, the code, everything remains same, but we're infusing AI. What is AI? As I said, AI is nothing. It's just simply ability for computers to think and learn like human. That's what it is. If AI was that great, Why things were not happening 25 years ago or 10 years ago? Why it took us almost 75 years, 1950, 2024? That's the problem. AI was there. Large corporations are using, Bill gave an example of machine learning. He was using 10, 15 years ago, but it was complex. Let's think about how, if you want to introduce AI in your app, what journey you guys have to take. First, you have to think about, okay, I need to get some really great experts from these good schools who have done PhD in mathematics, and they can come and build and train models. Just hiring those people is very, very difficult. Even if you get those experts, what's next? I need infrastructure. By the way, just one stat. In US, there's a state, Virginia, where majority of infrastructure provider like Google, Azure, which is Microsoft, and AWS are running their data centers. In last 5 years, the electricity cost, the consumption of electricity just by those data center has gone 75% more than what they were consuming. Why? And of that 75%, majority of the consumption of electricity and water is by those data center. Why? Because these machines which we use today, which needs to get trained on, needs a lot of cooling and electricity. So that's kind of infrastructure you had to build before anything can be done. So let's say you even got that infrastructure in place, you got GPU based machine, you figure out the data center, you figure out the cooling. Then you say, okay, in order for these machines to train my AI models, I need data. Collecting that data was so hard and so resource intensive, it's become very expensive. Because it was expensive, it was only available to the most big organization, which have a lot of budget and money to spend. Essentially, it was not commoditized. What happened? Less than a year ago, OpenAI, ChatGPT came. And within a launch of a year, they had 100 million users. Weekly users, not 100 million, weekly user. It's just amazing how that adoption is happening. Why? They took this curve. We talked about complexity of AI. We talked about lack of resources in AI. We talked about cost. And that's where the tipping point was. What they did, innovated the LLM. And what they have done is made AI bunch of APIs call away. Nobody today thinks, oh, I need to have GPU. I need to basically train that model. Nobody thinks about it. What they do is they take bunch of APIs exposed by these OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and use it. So we are here. This is what happened, which commoditized. What is next? If you look at what is Google doing, what is AWS doing, what is Azure, making the models available to you a click away. Let's say you don't like what OpenAI gives you. You go do 3 clicks in AWS, you have your own model. You feed whatever you want to, it will respond to you on your data, not what is trained on internet. And you will see some of those today. So now, if you see, okay, AI was promising, a lot of hurdles, it got commoditized, it's really cool. Why does I need AI in automation? First, as a little bit Bill touched, it reduces the barrier to entry. What does I mean by reducing the barrier to entry? Today, even though low code is there, in order to build any automation, whether you need to build an application, whether you need to build an integration, you still need expert. You need someone who really understands clicking, putting some parameters in to build automation. What we are going to do is lower that barrier and now have business users build an application just by natural language. Do that same for integration. So not only it reduces the barrier, it also increases the efficiency. If you are a business user, you have an idea because you understand the functional requirement, but you can't visualize whether it is going to turn into reality or not. You just go do it yourself because they can understand you. Jitterbit can understand you in your language. And then finally, not only it makes you effective, it accelerates it. It makes things much faster. And how it makes it faster? Because now you have to spend, as a business user, you have to spend less time in gathering the requirement and information and transferring it to the IT person, then who will take it and implement it. You can do prototype yourself. And if you can do prototype yourself, you are not focused on thinking about how to give it to someone who is technical expert. You are taking time to think through more in refining those things and prototyping it yourself, because now control is with you and you can take as much far as possible. And then if it doesn't go far enough to go in production, then only you bring the IT, then only you bring the technical expert. This is what gives you more time to focus on a bigger project, bigger and complex. Let IT and technical expert focus on that, and you, what do? This is what you do. This is a reality of business today, because low code is still complex. If you look at y-axis, it's project complexity. If you look at x-axis, higher business value in other direction, not this direction. Because IT resources, as Bill mentioned in his presentation, is very limited and expensive, what end up happening in majority of organization is you focus on complex project because you need them and the higher business value. All this long tail of project left unfulfilled, and business don't feel good about that. And that's why we need AI in automation, to let also have this unfulfilled requirements get fulfilled using AI by lowering the barrier to entry. That is what it is. Today, less expert, more projects. Tomorrow, you have more expert because everyone can build it. Everyone can build it. Business users can build it. May not finish 100%, but get it far enough that some technical user can take it. That's what you're going to see, and that's what is the promise of our platform. And that's where Jitterbit AI comes. All those reasons I mentioned, in lowering the barrier, accelerating the process, making you efficient, is why we infusing AI for you guys. And guess what? You don't have to worry about what LLM is getting used. You don't have to worry about what AI technology is getting used. You just worry about your outcome and we deliver. That's the promise of Jitterbit AI. And what can you do with Jitterbit AI? So as Bill said, we have iPaaS, we have APIM, we have App Builder, and we have e-commerce EDI products inside our single unified platform. Essentially, if you use any of them, you do three things with them. You develop, then you manage, and you maintain. We'll park knowledge base for a minute. So let's take an example of integration or an automation application. You build an application, then you put it into the production. After putting it into the product, manage that application on a regular basis. Something happening, a problem happened, you want to fix that. And then maintenance. So let's take a specific example of management. Let's say you have an integration, that integration is in production. Suddenly you start seeing there is a problem, a performance issue. You ask our bot saying, hey, can you help me understand what's going on? And hypothetically, as you know, every SaaS platform has limits. There's no platform which is unlimited in SaaS world. And that's what is hitting. It's going to tell you, hey, your application is trying to connect to Salesforce, and Salesforce has a limit, and you are hitting a limit, and that's why the performance of your integration is slow. Figuring out yourself, very, very tedious. In management, it will tell you, and it'll ask you, can I fix for you? Do you want me to throttle the APIs you're calling to the Salesforce? That's what get management. Maintenance. Lot of time, the projects, the automations get built is built by the system integrators or our professional services. Project engagement get over. What happens is we now need to transfer that information to you. Then what we do? We have bunch of Zoom meetings, we transfer the information, we create a documentation, we hand you a documentation. 6 months later, it evolves, documentation becomes stale. This will generate a documentation for you. All we have to say, can you tell me what this project is doing? A document gets generated from the source of truth, not some person who wrote 6 months ago. That's an example of maintenance, right? Knowledge base will touch. So what we have delivered so far and what we're going to demo, we have already connectors inside our iPaaS for Azure AI and OpenAI. So if you want to leverage in your automation that technology, you can do it. You don't have to worry about anything around even APIs. We have further simplified. OpenAI, commoditized by AI, introducing APIs. We are saying don't worry about even APIs. We got you covered. You just go tell what needs to happen. Those two things will do. We won't see the demo. Then let's say we have 200 connectors out of the box. Let's say you have an application which you want to connect. It's a REST-based application, but we don't have connector. Actually, by giving a prompt in natural language, you will build the connector. So we'll see that. In integration, transformation, which is taking data from source, mapping it to the target, is a very tedious work and time consuming. I'll show you the demo of pressing one button and the whole mapping get done for you. And the final one is building an application using the app builder.